Here in the beauty of the forest, we can think again about the faithfulness of God. Last week we saw God is faithful, and today is number 13 in our studies going through the book of Joshua, looking at lessons of faith. This one's entitled Choose This Day. That's the words of Joshua. Choose today whom you are going to serve. And in that speech that he gives there in Joshua 24, read it through and see the way in which he's approaching this whole subject. It's very interesting. As you read it through, you realize that Joshua still is a little doubtful about his people. He's having to tell them to remember God and all that God has done to lead them through from the time they left Egypt all the way through the wilderness to the promised land. He's reminding them of their past history and their promises to God, not just God's promises to them, but the way that they promised God about what they would do. And he says to them, you have made yourself witnesses against yourself by saying that you have chosen to worship the Lord. Yes, we are witnesses, the people reply. Yes, we agree that we are witnesses against ourselves for when we don't do what God says. And then in Joshua 24, 22 to 24, he says this, then get rid of those foreign gods you have and promise to be loyal only to the Lord, the God of Israel. The people said to Joshua, we will worship the Lord our God and we will obey him. Yeah, right, almost you want to say. Why was Joshua having to tell the people, get rid of these foreign gods? After all that journeying through the wilderness, and now as they've entered the promised land under the direct control, you might want to say, of God, under his direction, and they still have hidden away these foreign gods. They're still worshipping these idols. Did they carry them from Egypt? I don't know. Did they make them for themselves on the way? I don't know. But they've still got the foreign gods with them. And Joshua, right at the end, is still having to say, get rid of them. And you need to make a choice today who you are going to serve, who you're going to worship. Is it going to be the true God or all these false gods, all these idols that can't do anything to help you, and yet you hold on to them? Why? Why do they hold on to these idols made of wood or stone or precious metals, whatever? Why do they hold on to that? I think it's because we all as human beings want something tangible. To talk about a God who is invisible, who we cannot relate to in terms of a physical object, maybe that's the problem. That's why idols have been always such a temptation, because you can feel them, you can see them, even though they don't move. And as later on in the Old Testament, we're told, you know, why do you worship these things made out of wood and stone and metal? They can't speak, they can't breathe. You make an idol of wood out of this piece of timber, and then you throw the rest in the fire to keep yourself warm. How stupid is that? And yet, as we apply that to ourselves, we can also say it is ridiculous, the kind of things that we decide we want to believe in and worship. Tangible things like our possessions or money in the bank. You can pull out some dollars and say, I trust in this. And what does it say in the money? In God we trust. Is that really what we're doing with the money? I don't know. Anyway, the important thing is we need to make a choice, all of us, every day, who we are going to serve, who we are going to worship, who we're going to follow in terms of the direction in our lives. And there is a daily choice, because in so many ways, whatever we choose to be saying or doing, we're following either the Lord or the false gods of the devil. Important things to be considering May God bless you as you think of all that we've learned by going through the book of Joshua, and help to apply them in your own lives. May God bless you as you do so.